Every single morning, millions of people pour a glass of milk, and they don't think twice about it. It's milk. It's simple. It's the most ordinary thing in the kitchen. Here is the forbidden fact. Most of the milk sitting on American grocery store shelves right now has been injected with synthetic hormones, blasted through an industrial heat tunnel, and rebuilt with factory manufactured vitamins. And the label is legally allowed to tell you absolutely none of it. The fluid milk industry in the United States generates over $36 billion every single year. $36 billion. And the corporation running it have spent decades perfecting a system, backed by quiet FDA loopholes, carefully worded labels, and marketing budgets bigger than most countries' GDP, to sell you something that looks like milk, pours like milk, but has been optimized for their quarterly margin, not your body. 6 of the most popular brands on the shelf are doing exactly that. I found 3 that are still doing it right, and at least one of them is more affordable than you think. I spent 6 weeks auditing every major milk brand I could find. I read every label, I traced the supply chains, I pulled the corporate acquisition records, the FDA guidelines, and the lawsuit filings. The results were not what I expected. Let's do the math reality of milk, because once you see the math, you cannot unsee it. To produce 1 gallon of genuinely nutritious, minimally processed whole milk, you need a cow that is pasture-raised, free from synthetic growth hormones, and milked at a natural biological rate. That milk needs to be pasteurized at the lowest effective temperature to preserve its enzymes, with its fat-soluble vitamins, and its protein structure. That process costs more land, more oversight, more time. So the industrial dairy complex built 3 shortcuts, and they are running all 3 simultaneously. Shortcut number 1, RBST, recombinant bovine somatotropin, a synthetic hormone injected into cows to force them to produce up to 15% more milk than their bodies would naturally make. The FDA approved it in 1993, and here is the legal loophole that should make you furious. Brands are not required to disclose whether their milk comes from RBST-rated cows. The label will say nothing. You are buying it completely blind. Shortcut number 2, ultra-high temperature pasteurization, UHT. Standard pasteurization heats milk to 161 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds. UHT blasts it to 280 degrees for up to 4 seconds. The corporate benefit is a shelf life of up to 9 months without refrigeration. The cost to you? Documented destruction of heat-sensitive B vitamins, denatured whey proteins, and an altered fat structure. The ingredient list tells a different story from the words "farm fresh" on the front of the carton. Shortcut number 3 is perhaps the most brazen. When fat is removed, to make low-fat or skim milk, processors add powdered skim milk back in to restore a creamy appearance. Powdered milk contains oxidized cholesterol, compounds researchers have flagged as significantly more problematic than the natural cholesterol found in whole milk, listed on the label simply as skim milk. No separate disclosure, no warning. This is a logistical magic trick happening in plain sight every single time you open a carton. The skip list. Brand number 1, Fairlife. Flip the bottle on Fairlife and you will see the words ultra-filtered milk printed with enormous confidence. The marketing is extraordinary. More protein, less sugar, lactose-free. It sounds like an upgrade, but Fairlife is owned by Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola Company, a corporation whose entire expertise is engineering shelf-stable, addictive beverages. Not producing nourishing dairy, the ultrafiltration process disassembles milk into its protein, fat, and sugar components and reassembles them at a targeted nutritional ratio. That is product engineering, that is not milk. And in 2019, an undercover investigation at Fair Oaks Farms, a primary Fairlife supplier, documented systematic animal abuse on camera. Fairlife's response was a rebrand and a press release. The premium price stayed exactly where it was. Brand number 2, Horizon Organic. The word organic on the Horizon label is doing an extraordinary amount of heavy lifting. Horizon is owned by Danone, a $40 billion French multinational. For years, Horizon has faced formal complaints and investigations over whether its supplier farms actually comply with USDA Organic pasture access requirements. In 2007, the USDA issued a formal willful violation finding against Aurora Organic Dairy, a primary Horizon supplier, for operating what investigators described as a factory farm under organic certification. It is the most significant enforcement action in USDA organic dairy history. Horizon severed ties with Aurora and continued sourcing from operations under the same structural pressures. You are paying an organic premium for a standard that is enforced by complaint, not by continuous oversight. The ingredient list tells a different story from the smiling cows on the carton. Brand number 3, Borden. Borden has one of the most recognized names in American dairy, and that recognition is precisely why its practices go unquestioned. Flip the bottle. There is no RBST-free certification, no organic sourcing requirement, no pasture-raised standard, just commodity milk from large-scale industrial farms where the priority is volume per cow per day, not nutritional density per glass. Borden filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2020. Structural evidence of a business model built entirely on commodity volume with no quality investment. The LC the cow logo and the established 1857 badge are legacy intellectual property. They have nothing to do with what is in the bottle right now. You are paying for brand nostalgia. Full stop. Brand number 4, Lactaid. Lactaid marketed itself as a health solution for the lactose intolerant, and that part is genuinely fair, but here is what they are not advertising. Lactaid is ultra pasteurized across its entire product line. UHT processed. That means everything we already covered, degraded proteins, destroyed B vitamins, altered fat structure, is present in a product being sold specifically to people with digestive sensitivities. The lactase enzyme added to break down lactose is a real benefit for those who need it. But the UHT processing is a corporate supply chain convenience dressed up as a health innovation. If your body has a hard time with dairy, you deserve an option that does not come with collateral heat damage baked in. Read the fine print, it is all there. Brand number 5, DairyPure. DairyPure was created by Dean Foods, or more. Accurately by the wreckage of Dean Foods after it filed for the largest dairy bankruptcy in American history in 2019. The brand was acquired by Dairy Farmers of America. On the carton, you will find what they call a 5-point purity promise, including the claim no artificial growth hormones. But flip to the fine print and you will find the FDA mandated disclaimer that follows every such claim. No significant difference has been shown between milk from RBS tea-treated and non-RBS tea-treated cows. That disclaimer does not appear by accident. The 5-point purity promise is an internal brand framework, not an independent certification. The word pure is doing the work that a third-party audit should be doing. They are not the same thing. Brand number 6, Kirkland. Grade A. This is the category most people default to because the price is lower, and the price is lower. Here is what that discount buys you. Milk sourced almost certainly from RBS, tea-treated cows. Undisclosed, UHT processed for maximum shelf life and minimum spoilage loss, and synthetic vitamin D and vitamin A added back in after the industrial heat destroys the natural ones. Read that again. The vitamins you see on the nutrition label were not in that milk when it left the cow. They were manufactured in a separate facility and added during processing. Grade A on a milk carton is a facility hygiene classification. It rates the cleanliness of the processing plant, not the quality of the farming, not the hormone status of the cow, not the intensity of the heat treatment. It is the floor, not the ceiling. You have been told it is a quality mark. It is not. You do not need a chemistry lab. You need 60 seconds in the carton you already have at home. Check number 1, the UHT hunt. Turn the carton over, scan every panel for the words ultra pasteurized, UHT, or extended shelf life. They are often in 6-point font near the Best By date or buried in the nutritional information block. Their placement in the smallest possible text is not a coincidence. If you find those words, you are holding a heat-damaged product. Check number 2, the hormone salience test. Look at the front and the back of the carton for any mention of RBST, RBGH, or artificial growth hormones. Brands that are hormone-free will tell you loudly on the front panel because it is a selling point. If the label is completely silent on hormones, that silence is a corporate decision. Absence of disclosure is its own data point. Check number 3, the Grade A reality check. If the most prominent quality claim on the carton is Grade A, now you know what that actually means. A facility sanitation classification. It tells you the processing plant passed a hygiene inspection. It tells you nothing about how the cow was raised, what it was injected with, or how intensely the milk was processed. And here is the bonus check. Find the 5 to 8 digit code printed on the carton. It follows the format of a state abbreviation followed by numbers. Enter it at wheredoesmymilkcomefrom.com. The pastoral farmhouse on the front of the carton and the industrial processing facility in the database are often separated by several hundred miles and multiple layers of corporate ownership. Real milk does not need to hide. The label will always tell you the truth, if you know exactly what you are looking for. The real list. Brand number 1, Organic Valley. Organic Valley is not a corporation. It is a farmer-owned cooperative founded in 1988 in Lafarge, Wisconsin, by 7 farmers who were facing financial collapse during the farm crisis. That cooperative structure was not a marketing decision, it was a survival strategy. And it is the reason this brand behaves differently from everything else on this list. When 2,000 farmers own the brand, the incentive system changes completely. Quality and long-term standards matter more than quarterly earnings per share. Organic Valley Milk is certified USDA Organic or BST free across every single product line and processed using standard HTST pasteurization only. No ultra pasteurization, no exceptions. Their grass milk line is 100% grass-fed, with a nutritional profile that USDA Agricultural Research Service data confirms is measurably higher in omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid than conventional grain-fed dairy. This is what it looks like when the people making the product are also the people setting the standard. Brand number 2, Maple Hill Creamery. Maple Hill was built on one rule: grass only, no grain, not even organic grain. Robert Hodge converted his Hudson Valley farm to 100% grass-fed organic in 2003, before a national market existed for the product, because he believed it was the right way to farm. He co-founded Maple Hill in 2009 to build a supply chain that could take that standard national without ever introducing an exception. It worked. Maple Hill became the first 100% grass-fed organic dairy brand to achieve national distribution in the United States. Multiple independent nutritional studies consistently confirm that 100% grass-fed milk contains significantly higher omega-3 fatty acid and conjugated linoleic acid content than conventional grain-fed dairy. Maple Hill uses standard HTST pasteurization only. There are no added synthetic vitamins on the label because none were needed. Flip the bottle, read the fine print. There is nothing to hide on this carton, and that is exactly the point. Brand number 3, Alexandre Family Farm, the value play. This is the one that surprised me most. Alexandre Family Farm holds regenerative organic certified gold status, a standard above the USDA Organic baseline, developed by the Rodal Institute and Patagonia, requiring verified improvement of soil health, animal welfare, and farmer livelihood. The Alexandre family has farmed the same Northern California coastal land for generations. They were farming soil first and animal first long before a certification existed to recognize it. 100% grass-fed, pasture-raised, HTST pasteurized, no RBST, no synthetic inputs, no added milk solids. And here is what makes this the consumer win of the entire list. Alexandre Family Farm retails at approximately $5.49 to $6.99 per half gallon in most markets. That is competitive with mid-tier conventional brands. It is significantly below Maple Hill's price point, and it holds a higher certification than standard USDA Organic. The next time someone tells you they cannot afford real milk, show them this label. Here is the truth the dairy aisle does not want you to sit with. Milk is not a complicated product. It comes from a cow, it gets pasteurized, it goes in a bottle. Every synthetic hormone injection, every UHT heat tunnel, every powdered additive, every laboratory manufactured vitamin replacement, those are not improvements. They are optimizations for their margin, not for your health, not for your family. The 3 brands on the real list cost more. Some of them cost significantly more. But once you understand that you have been paying a premium for years for RBST treated, ultra pasteurized, additive, rebuilt industrial liquid with a farm photograph on the front, the math changes completely. You were never getting a deal. You were getting managed. Your health is not a commodity for these corporations to optimize. Flip the bottle, read the fine print. The ingredient list always tells a different story. I make these videos because you have the right to know the truth about what you're eating. If this changed something for you, subscribe, and send this to someone who still trusts the smiling cow in the carton.